Welcome back to Mocktails Munchies with your favorite Virgin Islander LIKKZ. Let's get straight into it. So for today's mocktail, we have a blue passion mocktail. And then for our munchie, we have bruschetta. So a little backstory for those of you who do not know. I used to go to this restaurant back home at Bluebird's Castle. I don't even know if the restaurant's still around because I ain't been back home in a minute. But I used to always get a bruschetta, and it's basically like they would put it on either like a French or Italian bread with a little bit of oil, and then they'll use tomato and mozzarella, but the glaze is the cherry on top. Literally, they would put on a vinaigrette glaze, and it is so delicious. So that's what it is I'm gonna be eating today as my munchie. A matter of fact, I'm gonna take one right now because I need to taste it. It is just like I remember. I should have got a napkin. Anyways, I might need a drink. Hold up. Oh yeah. Delicious. Now, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Menendez brothers. So I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but basically two brothers, Lyle and Eric Menendez, killed their parents in 1989 in their Beverly Hills home. Now, I personally empathize with them after I watched the documentary on Netflix because they actually have a series and a documentary on Netflix. I watched the documentary last night, and the documentary just basically goes over people interviewing the brothers, and the brothers are going into detail about what it is happened to them, what pushed them to kill their parents. So the Menendez brothers were 18 and 21 when they killed their parents, and their parents' names is Jose and Kitty. And two of them are currently facing life in prison without parole. So the reason behind them killing their parents was because for years upon years, over a decade, they were facing very traumatic experiences, which was sexual, physical, and mental abuse. Now, from my understanding, all of this abuse came from the father. He was like very hard on them. He wanted them to do things a certain way. And you have those kind of parents what to push you to be the best that you could be. I just assume that the way he was raising them and the way that he was parenting them was a bit excessive. So in the documentary, they basically shared what their father did to them. And Lyle, his abuse started actually at 6 years old. So you could just imagine from 6 years old to 18 years old, you're getting abused by your father. And from my understanding, they did reach out to like certain family members, and they also told their mom, but their mom was, I want to say like she was in a controlling relationship with their dad. So whatever he say went. So ain't nothing you could have tell this man. And then he also had, his own anger issues or whatever the case may be going on. After I watched the documentary, I started to gather my own opinions and thoughts about how I felt about what it is happened to them. Now, like I said, I empathize with them. I'm not saying that they are lying about the abuse that they endured, because that would be wrong of me to say something like that. I believe that that may have happened. My issue is I don't like the fact that we're allowing one a 18-year-old and a 21-year-old At this point, they are adults, okay? Their frontal lobe may not be fully developed because, as we all know, it develops at the age of like 25, 26. But that's not the point. They're adults, which means they knew the decision they made to go in there and kill their parents. If you guys look it up online or you look up the report, you would see that they literally shot their dad in the back, literally blew off his head from the back. Like, if that wasn't intentional, I don't know. I honestly don't know. So I cannot fathom releasing two people who intentionally went to kill their parents. Their excuse behind, okay, and pause. Because listen to this now. Their excuse behind killing their parents involves the abuse that they endured. They did not want to endure it anymore. They felt like they was going to be harmed, and that's the reason why they did what they did. So in the documentary, somebody asked one of the brothers, okay, so why did you do this to your mom? Like I said, majority of the abuse was coming from their father. So his response was, one, she was a witness, or she would have been a witness to the crime. And two, they know that she couldn't bear with the fact that they killed their dad. So they had to get rid of her. And then what's so mind-boggling to me is when they went to the funeral, the brother went up there and literally spoke nothing but good things about his mom. Like, you could tell, like, he knew that he made a horrible mistake because he knows the love that he has for his mom and the love that she has for him. So it's like, okay, you went to go kill your parents and you had to get rid of the mother too? When she wasn't even the one touching you or abusing you. Mind you, the fact that they were trying to tell her the things that were happening from what their father was doing, and she was kind of like brushing it off or whatever the case may be. But, as kids, let me put it like this. As kids, we don't understand the things that our parents are mentally and emotionally going through. So at the time of them explaining to her their abuse from the father, because she was such in a chokehold by the relationship that she was in with Jose, it came off as if she was dismissing what they were coming to tell her about, which I feel like we have to have an understanding about it. And I understand that in that time, we may not understand, like, okay, why my mother doing this to me? Like, we may have a lot of questions because we're children. So to everybody looking at their family, everybody is seeing this is the American dream family. Like, mother, father, rich, spoiled kids living in this big house. This is what everybody's seeing from the outside. But nobody is taking into consideration these kids are going through this while they are living underneath their parents' household. Nobody saw that because, like I say, they were rich, they were spoiled, they were going to the best schools, they had people who were taking care of the tennis that the one younger brother were playing. Like, they were rich, they had that lifestyle. So after you kill your parents, you had the audacity to go run up a bag after you guys realized that your father left everything to you. You guys went and run up a bag, buy a bunch of Rolexes, buy a bunch of cars and this and that. Like, I'm not understanding where the correlation is. Like, if I just did something that drastic, how is my mind able to wrap around the fact, like, okay, let me just go spend a bag. Let me just go shopping. And if this was their way of masking the emotional or the emotions that they had from the thing that they did, which was killing their parents, that was not the way to go about it, because obviously it's going to raise some red flags. Your parents just dead and are you out there shopping? I don't understand. In 2020 is when the Menendez Brothers case started to resurface, and it actually started on TikTok. Now, I know how TikTok is. TikTok, When I say the people on TikTok, they need to work for the FBI. Everybody have a story. Everybody have an opinion. Like, TikTok is that girl. Do you hear me? So it started going viral on TikTok, and they're now looking, we're in 2024, they're now looking to reopen up the case because some new evidence come about, or whatever the case may be. So the other day I scrolling on my phone, and I see that Kim Kardashian comes out with a statement, and in the statement says they are not monsters, talking about the Menendez brothers. She said, I have spent time with Lyle and Eric. They are not monsters. They are kind, intelligent, and honest men. In prison, they both have exemplary disciplinary records. They have earned multiple college degrees, worked as caregivers for elderly incarcerated individuals in hospice, and has been mentors in college programs committed to giving back to others. This is my issue when it comes to these kind of things, because I know Kim Kardashian is like a lawyer, whatever the case may be. Okay, cool. She has helped people in the past, but with this specific situation, she said, in prison, they have exemplary disciplinary records. What do you expect them to have? If somebody's in prison for a life sentence with no parole, exactly what do you expect them to be doing? Of course, they're going to be on their best behavior. Of course, they're going to join these little programs to get them with how they need to be. All this stuff that they're doing in prison is for a reason. And that reason is to try to see if they could get out. They're not just doing it just for doing it. So it's like, my thing is, I have no problem with like trying to help people in situations, but where was this energy when Marcellus Williams was on death row and they killed him? Is it because he was a black man? Because that's what I'm trying to understand. And, you know, we all have to be honest about it. We know that in this day and age, from slavery days, we know that if you are this color, you can get away with a lot more. And that's just the truth. I don't care who don't like it. That is just the truth. So you mean to tell me two men who intentionally went to kill their parents deserve to come out of jail? Meanwhile, a black man whose evidence was not even there nor by the crime scene, it wasn't even there at all. They could not reopen up this case to look it over one more time. Instead, they killed him. And the crazy thing is, like I said to you guys, TikTok is powerful. So when this whole Marcellus Williams case was taking place, people on TikTok literally were calling the governor's office to try to pardon this man. And I was one of them. It got to the point where you couldn't even get through because so much people were calling. But I hope that you understand what I'm saying. It's just like nobody, I didn't even see not one celebrity, and I could be wrong. So if I am wrong, please leave it in the comments and please let me know. But I ain't seen not one celebrity talk about Marcellus Williams. But we have Kim Kardashian here talking about two brothers who intentionally went and did a gruesome murder on their parents. I will never understand that. I will never understand the world that we are living in. And I'm not saying that she is wrong for wanting to help because, like I said, she has helped people. Okay, because of her status, because of what she went back to school for, because of her degree and whatever it is she got going on. Law school, whatever it is. My whole thing is, why are we releasing two people? This literally reminds me of that Gypsy Rose situation. She and her ex-boyfriend literally conspired, okay? Had a whole conversation about what they were going to do to her mom. She paid for his flight to come out to where she live. And when she and her mother come home from their appointment, she let the boyfriend in and he killed her mom. After he stabbed her up and killed her, they went inside Gypsy Rose's room, had intercourse, and then tried to ship the gun back to where he live, and then tried to get on a bus and go about the business. Like, we are talking about adults here. We're not talking about children anymore. Like, yes, the brothers were once children, and I am so sorry that they went through what they went through. But at the age of 18 and 21, you know exactly what you're doing. And I just kind of feel like, you need to serve the time for the crime that you guys committed. I honestly don't get it. Like, I don't know. I'm starting to feel like we don't let our beliefs take over what is facts. And it should not be like that, because the fact is they knew what they were doing. They intentionally went to the gun store to buy them shotguns. They went home and they killed their parents. Exactly why are we letting them free? Like, I'm really confused. Why are we letting them free? And I'm not saying people cannot change, okay? Because I know for a fact people can change, but it does not dismiss what you did. It does not erase what you did. It will never erase what you did, because you did what you did. Anyways, I had to talk about that because I was very passionate about it. Like I said, I did my research. I watched the Netflix documentary, and I wish them the best, because whatever is going to happen out of this case is going to happen. I have no control over that. But we should all just be mindful. If you or anybody that you know is going through any kind of abuse, is not right, I empathize with you. But we have to find ways to get help. We have to try to exhaust all options before we decide, okay, I have to go and murder somebody. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys next time for another mocktail and another munchie.